Yeah, hi, host. I'm here. I'm Hurmat Riaz, and right now we are in Kohinoor Grammar School, Faisalabad, Pakistan.
This is Lincoln Learning Center host, which is hosting the program for Art Lord. We have the coordinator of Art Lord with us and also the participant of the program. So we are hopefully we will have a nice program. Thank you.
Say hello to you all. Faisalabad, please say hello to all of them. Hello. And also we can say Assalamu Alaikum since. Assalamu Alaikum, host.
Walaikum salam. Just one issue with the sound. There is too much noise from your side. I don't know why. We can hear you, but there is too much noise.
Is it better now?
It's perfect now. It's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, we have just turned off our fans. It's still warm in Faisalabad. So I think we can begin now. Let's start with the introductions. So first, how would you guys begin by introducing yourselves one by one?
Okay. Can we start it from host first?
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you.
Hi everyone, this is Fidaullah Himad, coordinator of Art Lord in Khost. So I welcome all of you and our audience today. So they're going to introduce themselves one by one. So the first audience welcome.
Hi, welcome to the program. This is Nasib Lajman from Khost, and today we wanna have an excellent program here by introducing of the book, which name is Kite Runner.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Nurullah and I'm a student here and I want to present the book story and I hope so that we'll have a good program.
Thank you. Thank you. Next.
Speak your name. We couldn't hear you. Sorry. Just before you, the students, we couldn't hear his name properly. If you can speak a little bit loudly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello everyone. This is Usman Zalan. I'm from Khost 80. So I hope that inshallah will have a good discuss the name of Kite Runner. So inshallah will have a good discuss about this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ruhla from Khost, and I greet all of you to participate in this program.
Thank you. Next.
Hi everyone, I am Wahidullah from Khost. I hope
Hi everyone, I'm Muhammad Arif from Khost, Afghanistan. I hope we will have a good discuss about the book Kite Runner, and I hope all of you will be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. Your name?
Hi everyone, I am Abdul Hakim from Khost City and I wish to have a good program.
Thank you. Next.
Hi everyone, I am Manurullah from Khost. I hope we will have a good.
Thank you. Next.
Hi everyone, I'm Fazal Rabi from Khost. I wish we will have a good program.
Thank you very much. That's all we have. We have a total 11 participants here. Now we are coming to your side for introduction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Assalamu alaikum everybody. This is Uruj. I am from the Citizens Archive of Pakistan and I'm coordinating this session here. And I'll just ask my students to come to the camera one by one and introduce themselves. It's a pleasure to be connected with you. Okay, one by one you can go and introduce yourself. Please, Maria, can start. Just introduce yourself.
Just your name and your
Tell your name and task.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Mariam Noor and I'm in AS level.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Fatma Mubin and I am from 9th IGC. Assalamualaikum, my name is Inshaq Fatma and I am from 9th IGCS. Assalamualaikum, I am Aska Imran and I am from AS level.
Yes. What's your turn?
Assalamualaikum, my name is Tuba Kaved and I am from AS level. Assalamualaikum, I'm Amna Hussain and I'm really glad to be part of this program. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Manha. I hope we have a positive discussion today.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Safa from 10th IGCS. Assalamualaikum, I'm Mishal. I'm also from 10th IGCSE.
Yes, this voice one.
Assalamualaikum, this is Huda Shwab from 10th IGCSE.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Mariam Asad and I hope we have a really nice discussion today. Assalamualaikum, I'm Aisha Asif from 10th IGCSE and I hope we all have a great time.
Assalamualaikum, everybody. I'm Fatma from 9th Metric.
Yes, why is it your turn? Yes.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Ahmed Faisal and I'm from 10th IGCSE.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Rahul Zafar from 9th IGCSE. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, I'm Zain Kamran from 9th IGCSE and also the fact that it's an honor first off to be here with you discussing this book, and secondly I love nitpicking it, so sorry to any majors out there with sensitive ears.
Yes.
I'm Samar Rahman from 9th IGCSE.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Haithadullah and I am from 9th IGCSE.
Alright, so that does our introductions from Faisalabad. We have a total of 20 students here with us. And I think we should start with the discussion. Would anyone from Khost like to go first and talk about the Kite Runner?
Maybe give a summary of the book.
Yeah. So I welcome all of you again. So it's time to start the discussion over Kite Runner. So as you have read, we have read the book. It's a very good book, a story of Afghanistan, the some religious complex and discrimination of Afghanistan, some other difficulties there and along the history. So as you know that it's been written by Khalid Hosseini in 2003. So it's a good masterpiece for all over the world, and also it's been a good literature book for the word from Pashto side. So as it's been translated to many languages, over 50 languages, it's a worldwide known book. So I'm happy to be a part of such discussion, which is totally according to Afghanistan in its culture. It's I'm afraid to say that it's some religious or some other problems, but so we're gonna have the discussion over, and we're gonna start it from you guys, that whatever you have from the book, and first of all we let you talk over the book, and after that we'll come to the book.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Would anybody from here like to talk about the book and what they thought about it?
Can you give a summary of the book and then give their thoughts?
You're welcome to say that.
Anyone, please? Yes. Anyone who goes to the book?
Yeah, go for it.
Maybe tell your name again and then start.
Yeah, okay.
Hi, I'm Amna. So basically what I'd like to say about this book is I love how diverse, how it's all about diversity. We talk about Pakistan and we talk about Afghanistan. It's such a beautiful combination of both countries. The way the writer, the author mentions the beauty of Pakistan and Afghanistan as well. It's so unique. I love how he keeps it so diverse. And that's why we're here today talking to each other. And yeah, that's one of the best things about the book. And I also love how it's all about reality. It's not like a fictional book. It's more of a reality-based book. Like if you look at other books, they're always talking about how okay, probably romance or fantasy, like magic and stuff. But this is reality. You can see how one makes mistakes and how they try to fix those mistakes in a way. It's so beautiful how the author mentions those mistakes and how those, basically that. So this is what I like about the book, and that's how I see the book, like from my perspective. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Would anyone from your side want to talk about it now?
Yeah.
Hi there, this is Nasibullah from Khost province. Today I'm happy to gather with you, and I will say about a little bit shortly about the book, which name is Kite Runner. It is written by Khalid Hosseini, writer from Kabul. So from that book, I just sketched the word discrimination among Afghanistan. Here in Afghanistan, the war, the social war among Afghanistan people. So this is the case that Afghanistan have a little bit like foulness here among their people, among the other presidency. So it's not like kind of fiction, it's non-fiction. You know, we have parts of fiction, the literature or the short story that is fiction in non-fiction. So a novel will be like non-fiction. So the important thing or the important point for me is the discrimination or civil fight here among Afghanistan that is stopped the development of our country. And also it is mentioned the relationship between Afghanistan and Pakistan that in that case we have their good relationship, because there we had two characters with the name of Amir and Hassan. So when Amir went to America after that, the prince of his father, which name was Rahim Khan, he called him that come to Pakistan to have some discussion about your other prince, which name was Hassan, that he was Hazara. So here is the relationship between Afghans and Pakistanis. So I'm very happy to have you in this program. and I think it will be enough.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone from your side?
Yeah, does anyone have a question?
What kind of image do you guys have of Pakistan? Because while reading the book, I thought it was a bit negative, that you guys don't think very positively about Pakistan, as in general.
I think, would you like to repeat the question? Yes. And you can sit there while we're doing that. Yes.
My question was that what kind of image do you guys have of Pakistan? Because while I was reading the book, I thought that it was a bit negative. As in general, you guys don't think very well of Pakistan.
Yeah, we got your question. We got your question. Of course.
I guess I'd like to add that it's interesting how you know, books give us such a specific perspective, and it's always so particularized to a particular person, really, and who is the author. And you look at entire countries and entire societies from their eyes, right? And so I guess it's interesting how for young minds, when they're reading a book, you know, it impacts them so much, and they think about reality as well. So I guess what we like are perspectives about Pakistan, and whether they're different from the perspective that this student here felt in the Kite Runner. What would you guys want to say? Because I do understand that the Kite Runner is from a different generation. That time period was the 60s and 80s, Soviet war. And so, yeah, please take it away.
Yeah, we got your question.
Okay.
Thank you. It was such a great question. So the book is written with the life of the two kids, so that we have the name of the Kite Runner. So the picture from the book was the relationship between, the great relationship between Afghan and Pakistanis. So I think it will be solve your question.
Thank you so much.
We got the answer?
So I'd actually like to pose a question to our
Thank you. Yeah. All he means is that as in the book we read that whenever there is the communist coup in Afghanistan, so the most of the people go to Pakistan. So it means that they have good relationship there, because it was like a shelter for Afghan people. So they went to Pakistan. It means that they have good relationship due to internal problems there. So Afghanistan or Afghan people could go to Pakistan and get their life safe. So all he means is that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Also, I want to move this conversation towards how the Kite Runner is as the student just before you pointed out, it is a story about two children as well, and their friendship, and how it goes out on the break later on. And so I guess, and since it's about childhood in Afghanistan, I would want to start this conversation with our students in Faisalabad and ask somebody to talk about their childhood and the childhood games that we have played in Pakistan. Would any of the students like to take it up here in Faisalabad? And then we'll shift it over to Khost.
Yeah.
Anybody in Pakistan, you guys want to talk about your childhood, the kind of games you played, whether you hung out with your cousins or friends, the neighborhood?
It's me, Manha. So basically, I think it's different because the children in the book, they're from the 60s and 80s, while I think most of us are from like the 2000s. So there's obviously a difference in time. And if I'm talking about my childhood, it was mostly spent moving from different places here and there. So I think I kind of relate with Amir on that one because he was forced to leave his hometown and then travel to a whole other country. I've been through that myself, so I could sort of, connect with that. And I feel like Amir and Hassan's childhood was mostly spent, what can you say, in a natural way. Like they had barely any technology in the 70s and 80s. There were no TVs, video games. They had TVs, but those were rare. And they mostly played out in the fields and they spent more time with their families and friends. I don't think we were able to experience that as much as kids. I feel like our childhoods, or mine at least, was spent watching movies, reading books. I never got a chance to hang out with kids. So I'm curious, did you guys have the same childhood too? Are we similar in that sort?
Yeah. No, it was a different life and we have a different life as a child.
Yeah.
So do you feel any difference in your life, or do you sometimes wish that we wish we had such life like they had? Is there anyone to talk about this? Yeah, please. Nasir, come. For example, she's talking about that Hassan and Amir had a different childhood and we have a different childhood. So how do you consider the differences between our childhood and their childhood? And also sometimes do you wish that we could have childhood like them or something else?
Yeah, and you asked a very good question, and thank you. But our childhood and their childhood, you know better that our childhood and their childhood is have a difference. But I think nowadays we have a lots of things that we cannot. Yeah, they use technology, and we use the technology, and that time there was no facility to use the technology, and you know better than me that nowadays we have lots of facility to use technology, and I won't wish that I had that kind of childhood. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that was good. You should clap for it.
Yeah, he means that we have totally different lives. So at that time there weren't technology wasn't really involved, especially in Afghanistan. Even it was involved and widespread in the world, but in Afghanistan it wasn't that involved. But so they had lots of time to do lots of other to apply other hobbies, like they were kite runners and also they were reading books. So they had enough time for these things. But nowadays, as the technology developed, we do not have time to for example, read something. Like we cannot. Of course, we can, but the technology takes our time. There. So we give our time to internet or watching movies, or sometimes people play other games. So that time they weren't able to do these things. So they had lots of. They just preserved their time for the other practical activities like reading, writing, and also some other hobbies, some other childhood plays, games like kite runnings, and also climbing the hills. And so these were some differences or some that we can differentiate between them and us.
Thanks to all have read this book. Shall we talk about the characterization? Yeah. Let's get a question from host programs first. Would you guys like to generate a discussion or talk about something?
Okay.
And then we'll make it work. So thank you.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, here one of our brother has a question.
Okay.
Yeah, the question will be that this book is written with the culture of the Afghanistan. So there were two characters, Hassan and Amir. How was Hassan to Amir, and how was their relationship? And why?
Yes, beta. Alpha wants to go to Alpha. You can go there, beta. You can sit over there. They are also mentioned in the same way. You are going to talk about the character and yeah.
Could you remove your mask?
Hassan is portrayed as a brave enough boy who could stand for his friend because he didn't consider Amir only as his master or his master's son, but also as a friend. But Amir was not that brave to call him his friend in front of others, like his father's relatives and their children. He couldn't say that Hassan is his friend, but Hassan had that courage to say that he was his friend, and he was brave enough to fight for him from Asif as well. But Amir couldn't do the same. He was kind of coward.
But why Amir was like this to Hassan in the relationship?
Because he felt that his father loves Hassan too, and he wanted the attention of his father. He wanted his affection. Didn't want any share in his father's love. He didn't want his father to love Hassan more, just like he did treat Amir and Hassan equally.
What was?
Sorry, we lost your voice first. Your mic's muted. First, your mic is muted, so we can't. Yeah, okay, it's back. Sorry, we didn't catch the last sentence. What were you saying, sir?
Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, just before leaving, the gentleman was saying something just before he left. So and the mic was muted, so we couldn't hear him.
Yeah, so he's done. He's done. His questions are done. And if we have any question from your side or any views.
All right. So does anybody else want to talk about characterization? If you want to ask, yeah, go for it. Or just a discussion point that you want to say. It doesn't have to be you have to want to ask. You have to speak out. So basically, after it was revealed that Hassan and Amir shared the same father, I felt like Baba was sort of hypocritical, because earlier in the book, he had said, he had given Amir a talk, Amir, whatever you guys call him. He had given him a talk about how theft is the greatest crime of all, how lying can steal a person's right to the truth, how killing a man can steal his children's right to a father, his wife's right to a husband, and so on. But I think, what was his name? Tufan Aga, Amir's dad. I feel like he basically defied his own laws because he lied to his own family. And he himself said that lying is the biggest theft. It's like the biggest sin of all. So what do you guys think of that? Do you agree or?
Of course. So she says that Hassan's Amir's father tells Hassan, Amir, that the biggest sin in the world is lying, and lying is in itself a thief, So do you agree on that? And similarly, at the same time, Amir's father was telling him lie throughout his whole life. So what's your image about that? Isn't it a big sin in this? Yeah.
And thank you, sister. You asked a very good question. Sister, I agree that the thief something is a big sign, but we have lots of things that is not allowed in our religion, which is Islam. And we shouldn't have a sign like stealing something is also a big sign, but I'm not agree. I'm not that only thief something is lying. Lying is a big sign, and we have lots of things that is not allowed in our Islam, which is Islam, as I mentioned before. That is like lying, as you mentioned before, stealing something, and something that belongs to our religion. Thank you.
I appreciate your answer. But you know how Baba wasn't exactly religious. He barely believed in a God. So does that change anything for him? He's not a religion man. Putting religion aside, as a human, do you still think he was hypocritical?
Yeah. What's your vision of fight? You know, fight between people. So what's your vision about fight? Usman. नजर दीप दे जंग पाड़ा चला
Okay, thank you from you that I got your question. So my vision is about fighter. So what is different in Afghanistan that we are in a war in nowadays. So before that means and this book like that Hussein read written this book. We were in the fight before. We don't have any facility before, and also we don't have to achieve some like education and other things. So nowadays we have more facilities, and nowadays for example, we can to get education in Afghanistan, and also we want to go higher. I mean, now before we are in the low stage in Afghanistan, situation in Afghanistan, but we have more facilities in Afghanistan. Got it?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
So we have a couple of more questions here. Unless you'd like to go first.
Yeah, do you have any questions? We have.
Hey everyone. After reading this book, what's your imagination about the culture of Afghanistan, especially about the children? Was they allowed to their loyalty from their father, or their fathers want to what their father wants to be, their sons to be?
That's an excellent question. So he's asking, what is your imagination about children in Afghanistan and the relationships with their fathers, and what their fathers want?
Amir and Baba remind you.
Amir and Baba, or even after talking to them, you know, what do you think now? Or maybe what you thought about it before reading the book and then after reading the book? Anybody?
Anyone?
Yes, boys.
Boys.
Ooh, we're thinking on this question. It's such a good one. Yeah. It's okay. There's no problem. Okay, alright.
Do you understand the question?
Yes. Yeah. Hello, I'm Mariam. Thank you for your question. And I think that after reading the book, I figured out that it was set somewhere in the 1970s. And I think that back then, in that time period, in that era, there was a lot of pressure on the children themselves, which is why we also think that in this era, there was a lot of mischief going on between the little children, and they also wanted a little bit of freedom from the expectations they were burdened with. And I think it can be proved through the Kite Runner, as Amir's father also has a lot of expectations from him that don't match his personality. And the father is more worried about his reputation than he actually is his son's growth and development, which I think adds to how the kids spend their childhood. If a child has a supportive parent, they're more likely to spend their childhood playing and learning at the same time. While in the Kite Runner, you can see most of Amir's time is spent trying to please his father, even at the expense of his best friend.
And what do you think about children now in Afghanistan and their relationships with the fathers? Would you like to mention that? Just the part.
I don't have many ideas on how children spend their time now in Afghanistan, but I can say that this is almost 30, 40 years from the time mentioned in the book. And if a structural society still exists, then there still might be some pressure on the children to grow up to be like their parents and to keep their family name.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a very good.
All right, so does anybody from here want to venture the next question? Yeah, please go.
I just want to ask that Amir was the main character in the story, but the name of the novel was based on someone else. So someone of you can tell it was based on who and why?
Yeah. Where the question? The name of the main character was Amir, but the name of the book was based on something else. So can you remove this? No.
Yeah, I want to give you your answer. You said that the main character was Amir, but the name of the book was The Kite Runner. My answer is that Amir was also a kite runner, and because at that time there were made festivals about kite, and there were it was a part of costume of Afghans, the kite flying. My answer is that, in short, that Amir was also a kite runner. For this, the book named the Kite Runner. This is my answer.
Thank you. Do you have an alternative?
Thank you, but I think that the name of the novel was based on Hassan, because Amir was a kite fighter and Hassan was a kite runner, and he was known for it, and he was the best kite runner in Kabul. I think so. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good bit. Thank you.
So, do you have any question?
Reading the book, we all got the idea of how Afghanistan was in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. People were extremists, and there was so much discrimination between the different sects of Muslims, like the Sunnis and Shias, and so much racism, like Pashtuns and Hazara. So, to what extent is that true? And if it is true, then how has the situation improved right now in Afghanistan, or is it still the same?
What's the answer? You asked some good questions, sir. The discrimination is not good. I think it's very bad for society. I think we don't have progress after that. Discrimination is not good. We don't solve this problem. We have now also this problem with Shia or Sunni.
Someone else? Yeah, thank you. Someone else will answer your question.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, nowadays discrimination is finished and all of people is live together.
Yeah, live together
like brothers, and people has come to progresses and when not be discouraged.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All the mean is that discrimination and also these problems are little bit over and finished. You know, as the education gets developed, as education gets to the hard course. So that's why the people just understood the harms and the proofs of such things, means discrimination or other religious conflicts, that it really doesn't work. It really doesn't help us to get developed or to achieve any targets. So that's why people just understood its cons and proofs. So they are nowadays convinced with these beliefs that we have to be united and we have to live together and help each other, support each other. These things are only religious problems, or these things are the only cause of the only barriers and obstacles in our developments through our history and alongside the history. And we have lots of terrible examples of such things, of such wars that are because of religion, because of nepotism, because of other problems. So as people get educated, these things remove, and these things get removed, and these things go away. So all they mean is that. Thank you.
Very well put. Very well put. I would like to ask the student who just asked this question here in Faisalabad, what made you curious about that? Do you think such issues were problems in Pakistan as well, or still are? Do you think that that is what made you relate to it?
In Pakistan too, there are so much discrimination between the Sunnis and the Shias and different sects of Muslims. So that is what made me question that, was it the same between the other Muslim countries as well?
Yeah, excuse me, could you repeat your question again?
It wasn't a question. I just, this young gentleman just asked you about this question based on the book. And I just asked him if it made him curious because he saw such issues in Pakistan or being addressed in Pakistan as well as sectarian violence or discrimination. And so he's just explaining himself whether he thinks that there is any such similarities in such a gruesome situation as well or not. Please. He's just going to explain himself. Could you repeat yourself?
Well, in Pakistan, there's also the different sects like Muslims, I mean, the Sunnis and Shias and other sects as well. So there is much discrimination here too. So I just wanted to ask that if it was the same in Afghanistan too.
Yeah. يعني دي पाकिस्तान के ډېر هغه د شیعه او سني ترمنځ ډېر هغه دي تعصبات دي افغانستان کې په ورته توګه شته که نشته.
Yeah, that wasn't a question. We're just clarifying and making a connection between the two countries as well. That was it. It wasn't a question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got it. Thank you.
Hi everyone. I was just thinking that since we are just left with 10 minutes of our session, maybe we can take the discussion beyond the book. We can go beyond the book, and maybe I was just thinking about Khost, how that place is like, and maybe then someone from Faisalabad can come over and tell you about Faisalabad, how this place is like. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, there is no one who has seen Faisalabad yet. So they just hope that in upcoming time they will have tours and trips there in Faisalabad and enjoy the places and the people. Yeah.
So can someone from you guys can tell us about a little bit about Khost, how the place is like, what kind of food do you guys enjoy? Because I love food and I can see really nice fruit over there.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you for your question. Yes, I'm going to give you information about Khost. Khost is a very good place, and we have lots of facilities to get education, and we Yeah, and we have lots of park to have entertainment in Khost, and we have a good security in Khost city, and there is nothing to worry about. And we always have a good enjoyment in Khost city, and there is lots of places to visit, and we we have lots of enjoyable food, fruits, and we have traditional fruits.
Yeah, I have a question. How far is it from Pakistan border?
Yeah, we have the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan, and we have very good places inside the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan. The place name is Zadi Maidan. That is a very beautiful places which is connected to the border of Pakistan.
Yes, we have to visit them. Maybe meet each other across the border. Yeah. All right. Someone from Faisalabad like to talk about the city that I introduced it. Tell them what it's like living here. Anybody? Where is it? How is it like?
Hello, I'm Aisha again. Faisalabad is not one of the most popular cities or known in Pakistan. Mostly people talk about Karachi or Islamabad, but Faisalabad. Yes. Faisalabad is a crucial city of Pakistan. It's industrial. Although we have a lot of buildings and stuff here, but there are beautiful sceneries here too. Like there are gardens here, and there's canals here. There you can go and visit, and we have a lot of enjoyments and different activities can be done here. Food in Faisalabad and all over Pakistan is amazing. We have great spices in our foods, and we all love spices very much.
Please tell them.
Yes, I just said that.
It's called the Manchester Pakistan.
I enjoy Faisalabad mostly because it's a flat city. I like it because I have a lot of motion sickness. I don't like traveling in ups and downs on hills.
Yeah, discussing over food is always enjoyable. So could anyone tell us that what are some traditional foods there, and also what are some pets and rides there nowadays that are very, very common and very, very well known to each other?
I tell you some food. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I have emotional. Yes. Go. You talk about food.
My name is Hassan and I want to talk more about my city. I really wanted to say that this is the third largest city of Pakistan. It is famous for its textile and cotton production, and they are exported to all worldwide. And the food is amazing, especially the street food, because we have a great variety of street foods like samosas and pakoras and other things. Yes. Pani puri. Thank you.
So we have another question coming up for you guys. Get ready.
Hi, so I have just one last question. I wanted to know that there was this part in this book where Amir finds out, Rahim Khan tells Amir about the relationship he has with Hassan, that he's his brother, his half-brother. I wanted to know how all of you felt, because for me, it was a very sad part. I started crying. My imagination took me back to their childhood and the bond they both had, and I started crying about it. So I was really curious as to know how you guys feel about that part.
Thank you, such a great question. I also wanna say about the question, like they knew at the end that they were part brother. I also, brothers, I also wanna that they were knowing the first time that when they were child in childhood. So it will be very great for them, and also it will not cast up the killed or died of Hassan in the book. So Amir will able to learn him or to go there together with to the America camp.
Yeah, he means that it's a little bit disappointing because Amir got the information very later, you know. So if he were able to know that the Hassan was his whole brother at the childhood, so he wouldn't cause him trouble just to leave their family, like Ali and Hassan left their family because of Amir's torture, you know, or his trick to Hassan. So if they know from the very first day that they are half brother, so they would treat each other as like as a family, one family members. And also it was possible that they would go to America together. They won't be separated in this case.
Yeah, exactly. This really disappointed me. I was very sad. I started crying a lot. I spent the whole night crying. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Coach Prevents. This was a wonderful first session. I guess this is the end of it. Thank you for your time and for generating such lovely conversation.
I would just like to mention that our next book. Hi, guys. Sorry for talking so much. So I just want to mention that our next book is going to be Fearless. It's a really nice, colorful book. It features almost like maybe 50 women, 50 amazing women from Pakistan. So I'm really hopeful that you guys will love reading it and you guys will love talking about it in the next session. So yeah, thank you everyone.
You will. Thank you everyone, and apologize in some cases that we were really on the point because of the unfamiliarity with such program or session. So our students will get day by day. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So it's
All right.
Let's say